Hi guys, it's Chris and Karen. Thanks for tuning in. We are in California. And what's special about where we are right now, Karen?
We are halfway through our 6-month journey.
That's right. So this is the furthest most point we're probably going to go on this trip. So we thought we'd take some time and show you around. Where are we living? How are we living? What's the trailer like? Those kinds of things. Some people have asked some questions. So we'll give you a little insight of what it's been like for the last 3 months, with 3 months to go. Karen and I chose a trailer and pickup truck configuration for our adventures. It seemed to just work out well for us. This is a Embrace made by Cruiser RV. It's an ultralight. It's constructed of aluminum and structural foam instead of wood, and that makes it very lightweight. It's 30 feet long, although we've done some modifications that make it a little bit longer. It has a king-size bed and is really uniquely equipped for a couple, not a family, which is what we wanted. So the dinette seats two, the couch seats two, so on and so forth, extra large bathroom. It's really worked out well for us, especially in the long term. Prior to this trip, we hadn't spent more than 6 weeks here, but now we're halfway through a 6-month trip. It holds our bikes on the back along with water jugs, and our kayaks go on top of the pickup truck, which has done a really nice job of hauling us around. And it has a nice slide out. It's 3 feet out, which gives us a lot of room inside. There's a lot of storage holding tank capability, which I won't really go into the details there, but it does a really nice job of collecting our wastewater, and overall has been a really, really nice rig for us. Pretty structurally sound, and we've had very minimal problems along the way. We haul a lot of weight on the back bumper, and it seems to handle that no problem at all. And so great clearance overall. We couldn't have been happier with the choice of our rig. Okay, you want to kind of give us a tour of the trailer?
Sure. So over here we have our living area, and this is for movie night normally, and we have a stockpile of DVDs. We need to collect some more at the Goodwill. Great finds at Goodwill for $1 usually.
Yeah, because we have a TV, but we do not have television. We don't have Roku or Roku. Or we don't have Apple TV. All that was left at home, so we have not watched TV in 3 months now. Yep. But and then our ottoman is the Arctic, which it's the cooler overflow, and it doubles as the ottoman.
And then over here we have our eat-in, dine-in kitchen / office space. As you can see, we charge all of our electronics, our notebooks, whatnot. Chris created this little handy-dandy organizer to keep stuff, because otherwise it would, who knows what it would be like if we didn't have it corralled.
I keep telling myself I'm going to paint this thing one day on a down day when there isn't anything going on and bad weather, but we've had it for over a month, and we just haven't had a bad day yet.
Yep, still have. So we've added a nice little charging station here.
Yep. And then yoga mat.
We have a yoga mat. This is your stretching area.
Yep. And you want to do the bathroom?
Okay. So we added lots of hooks for hanging our
we got a lot of hooks for hanging stuff there.
So we have a pretty nice sized bathroom in here, decent sized shower, and we have good light in here, I think, most of the time.
Yep.
And then our storage for
storage
towels and stuff, and our medicine cabinet. We have lots of lots of storage stuff under here. I've got everything in little baskets, trying to keep it organized. And that's about it for the bathroom.
Yep. Shoe storage.
Yes, we had to find a way to keep our shoes out of the way.
And we do have a pretty nice closet here. This is pretty rare, if we found, to have a closet like this. It's got your typical thing. That's all of my tools and spare parts and a handful of other miscellaneous things in here. Karen's got some extra food stores up there. This is tape, every kind of tape you can imagine, and clothes, vacuum cleaner, kite, so dehumidifier, which we haven't had any need for in months since we've arrived here.
And so now we have the bedroom, which does have its own door, sliding door, so we have some privacy. If someone of us is still in bed, usually it's me.
Yeah, so if she's in bed, then I'll close it about to right here. The dogs can still get out, but it keeps the sound and the light out.
Yep.
Out there, and this is the dog walk. From there up onto the stool, then from there up to there, and then they can get up on the bed. And
Yep.
so we have 2 power stations. I'll talk about that later, or early. Maybe I've already talked about it, but
that's it.
got it. Yeah, it's a king size bed, and a little storage around the corner here, which is kind of nice on the back side of the kitchen. So a little bit extra storage and some shelves there. And
Yeah. So
this is our picture collage. Maybe if you're watching this video, you're in one of these pictures, but these are some of our favorite people and some of our favorite adventures so far. So this is it. This replaced the photo albums for the 6 months.
Yep.
So
And
I think that's pretty much it. We talked about TV,
yep.
weather station, music, fireplace. We don't use that much.
No, we have need to. Chris had to replace the light over the dinette
Yeah.
because the one that was hanging, it actually had little globes, and one of them had unscrewed itself. I guess it shook itself, and it shattered. So, which was a good excuse because we really weren't a big fan of it anyway.
Yeah,
so.
it stuck down too far. We were hitting our head on it and everything.
And it wasn't very pretty. So this is much nicer.
Yeah.
I like the ability to make it blue or bright, and
Yep.
it dims as well. So.
Yeah, well, we like that. There's some other sneaky storage down here underneath where we don't really sit. So, hiking boots, which we're hoping to use those a little later. And backup power system, and picture of Viekis that Karen picked out. That's her art contribution, and that's mine. And that's pretty much it.
Yep, that's it.
We're doing just that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the kitchen. Certainly, this is not as big as the one we had at home,
No, it's not quite as
but
big.
want to show us around?
Sure. So we have our basic stove top. I have a 3-burner propane and an oven, which we've used a few times. Works really well. And when we have a lot of solar going on, I use this induction burner instead of the propane, save on our propane costs. And we have a microwave. Use that once in a while, usually just heat up some random things, but it's nice to have. And of course our fun little guys here.
Yes, we like to eat.
So I don't usually use the sink to wash dishes. I have a collapsible bucket that I use, and then a collapsible drain dish as well. So that saves on water, because you can see it's a pretty deep sink, so it would be too much water to use for doing dishes. And
Tell us a little bit about water and what we do. So the water that we put in the tank is drinking water.
Yes.
It's potable water. And we cycle through that water probably within 5 days, but we still don't drink it straight out of the tap. So
So we do use our Brita filter pitcher on a daily basis, and we keep cold water bottles here in the fridge at all times because we also have a soda maker, seltzer maker. So it has to be cold water in order to be able to use that. So we keep this, and that helps eliminate waste as far as plastic or aluminum cans, because we do drink a lot of seltzer water.
Yeah, we do.
And then I've got my little draining thing for thermoses to keep our thermoses dry.
So to make seltzer water, you first get one of the metal containers, and the reason those are metal is they conduct cold faster. They're not insulated. So each one holds about a quart, which is about one of these. So we then fill that up, hit it with the soda maker, and then you refill that metal thing with water from the Brita, which we get from the spigot. So that way we always have about 2 quarts of water chilling at any time, and then of course we have ice.
Yeah.
The ice helps too.
Yes, it does. So that's about it for the kitchen. You know, I've got pretty good storage up above here. We have some melamine plates in Corning. We minimized our use of paper plates, but I do have some on hand for the occasional time.
This is really deep back in here.
And it's really deep. Holds a lot. I have a big pot. You can't see it, but there's a big pot, a 5-quart pot right here, if needed.
And then you have some additional kitchen utensils and stuff under there.
Yeah, so we have additional storage here.
Okay. And then there's some in the pantry. And then some above the fridge here. These are little items that we get to a lot.
Yeah.
So you want to walk us through what we have in the freezer and what we just defrosted it this morning. So every time you open the freezer, there's a surprise. Something jumps out, but
yeah. So we have
not a lot of room, but
so we have a couple of things of meats and some vodka.
That's vodka.
Keep chilling.
Keep it chilling. Yeah.
Yep. And
ice. We make ice from the Brita filters.
Yep.
So, and then this is about typical midweek. This is what it looks like, pretty much midweek.
Yeah, we went
So
to the
milk.
grocery store 2 days ago.
This is a V8 with some sodium-free Greek seasoning in it, that's what I use for Bloody Marys, and so pretty basic. Not a lot of things, cheese drawer, miscellaneous things. Not a lot of beer. There's 1 beer in there. And then we got an overflow, right?
Yes. So this is what I've been using a lot for vegetables. I brought my Tupperware container, and so I'm keeping that.
Yeah, this has got the right.
So because this is supposed to help preserve vegetables anyway. So we happen to have a cooler that accommodated it, so we brought it along, and we swap out ice jugs from the freezer.
Yeah, so every day we swap out one of those and one of these and one of those flexible guys, and just throw that on top. And then every day, and that keeps us right around 40 degrees. A little high humidity in there, but about 40 degrees. Sometimes as high as 45, but that's still okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the power systems that we have going on. In most trailer situations, you have a deep cell battery that's mounted on up near the hitch, and that's what powers things like the jack, some of the lighting, the slide out, that type of thing. But that's very limited. Now, some people augment that part of the power system. We've chosen to leave that pretty much alone and to augment up with power behind it. So we use what's called solar generators, and that's what these are. So this is a all-in-one power system. So there's USB, all the various USBs, power delivery ports. There's a car adapter, so like 12 volt. You want to run something off of that, you can do that. There's also an adapter to run another one out of here. And then you have an outlet, so regular household. So you can power out a lot of different devices using this, and it has a lithium battery in it. It has a charger in it. It has a controller. There's a solar controller. So on the back, you can input solar into the back of it. And it's what's called a solar generator. It's kind of a silly name for it. But so we have 3 of these. This is the little one, and this guy is just hanging around when we need to go outside or something like that. This is a 200 watt hour battery. So it means you could run a 100 watt light bulb for 2 hours, or you could run a 2 watt light, like an LED light, for 100 hours, about. That's the equivalent. So this is a 200. So the main one that we use in the trailer is this one. And this is Goal Zero's big brother. That was a 200. This is a 6,000. So this has 6,000 watt hours of capacity. It also has the capacity for high-end solar, up to 50 volts, which means we can use the big stuff, not just the little solar panels, but really large residential panels. And you can see some of that here. We got a great deal on these 3 solar panels here in Yuma. They're used residential panels. Something like these typically cost, I don't know, $500,000 a piece. We got them for $50 a piece. So and so they come in and arrive here, and you can see right now they're delivering about 230 watts. That on a full sunny day, that can be 600. So you can see right here we're at 75% capacity. Overnight we usually drop down into the 60s, and by the end of the day we're back up to 100 again. And so with basic activities right now with lights on and stuff, we're pulling about 54 watts of power. So when we have all the lights off and we're in bed, that's more like about 10 or 15. There's not much. So that's the big one that runs pretty much the whole trailer. Literally, the trailer is plugged into it. That's what that cord goes outside, and then right into where you plug in your trailer right here to shore power. So that when we don't have power, externally, like what they call shore power, where you could plug into somebody's house or something like that, this is how we power the system. So the secondary one that we have is this guy, which is a Bluetti power system. So it's a 500. It's bigger than the first one I showed you, not as big as the second one. And this one we primarily use to run our CPAPs and its overflow. Yesterday, or was it the day before, we actually had so much sun that we were able to cook chili in a crock pot for 5 or 6 hours using just this power system, while the other one fully recharged itself. So we can kind of give and take a little bit. It's got the same thing that the other one does. All the buttons, USBs. It's got, these are 12 volt ports that run our CPAPs. And then you also have 4 outlets here that you can use as well. And you can see it's just finishing its charge right now. And it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's just about full. So that kind of summarizes the power system. Now, we're part of a couple of networks, Harvest Host and Boondocker's Welcome. So when we're on the road and moving a lot, then we use that network to stay at people's homes. It's part of the package. And very often they allow you to plug in for a modest amount, $5 a night or something like that. And then we can fully recharge everything. We don't have to pull all the solar panels out. But predominantly for this trip, and most of the trips, we're out here in the middle of nowhere. So we don't have any power. We have to generate all of our own. The backup power, if we have 5 days or so straight of rain, or it's cloudy, or for some reason it's really high winds, something like that, our backup plan is a Honda generator. So that's buried in the bed of the truck. We can get that out if we need to, and that'll run everything. That's also needed if we run air conditioning, but we're not running air conditioning because we're purposely staying in a climate where we don't need that. So that's pretty much the power systems. Now, one question you might have is, why aren't all of these panels facing the same direction? Well, it's an array. So what that means is this panel in particular handles the morning sun because the sun rises right there. So this panel is optimally oriented to get that sunlight. This one pretty much gets a little bit all day, and this one polishes us off for the evenings because it's pointed pretty much to the southwest there where the sun sets. So this way I don't have to move these panels around during the day, and because they're 255 watts each, we have more than enough input to meet the 600 watt maximum that our system can take. I do also have some roof-mounted solar. I have 4 panels on top of the roof, which work great in normal conditions, but unfortunately in the winter, the angle of the sun is so narrow, they just don't really work well. So ground-based systems are the way to go in the winter. One of the other improvements we made was purchasing a portable gas grill. We started out with charcoal, but found out very quickly that charcoal doesn't travel well. It rubs and becomes dust. So it's also messy. So we got this guy and its little compatible 5-gallon propane tank. We use it with the Blackstone as well. It works great for outdoor cooking. Some of the other junk we're carrying along, you see back there underneath that cover with the orange bungee over it, that's our Honda generator. Haven't had a need for that, use that very much, which is good. There's also some fencing up there if we get into kind of tight quarters. We have a lot of neighbors nearby. We'll put out that fencing around. You've seen that in the past. Life jackets and paddles. Water. Now, sometimes when we dump our tanks, there's potable or drinking water available right there. But we're finding out here in Yuma, where we've been the last month or so, there's not. So we have to go to filling stations and collect water there. And it's typically about 50 cents for 5 gallons. Sometimes it's as high as $1. And so we fill up these jugs and then we bring them back and pour them into the tank. That's how we handle water. Well, that'll about wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody.